This tutorial is an update to a Wordfence tutorial I did a number of years ago. Wordfence, the plugin has changed since then, but it's still super powerful, and they've added some more great features and made the plugin visually more appealing, so it's more fun to use. And I'm going to show you how to set it up, how to track live traffic, how to block hacker IPs and discover hacker IPs, how to see what people are doing on your site, and how to check for malware and site file changes on your site using this plugin. And we're getting started right now. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. It's Bjorn from WPLearningLab, where we help you get better at WordPress so you can earn more for yourself, for your clients, and for your business. If it's your first time here and you like WordPress tips and tricks and getting better at it and serving your clients better, then start now by clicking subscribe, then click the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything, and make sure you sign up for the private WPLearningLab Facebook group where we can hang out, ask questions, help each other get better at WordPress. There's a link in the description down below, so make sure you check that out. And with that out of the way, let's head into the screen capture. To install Wordfence, the first thing we have to do is head over to Plugins and then click on Add New and then search for Wordfence. And the one we want is this first one over here. It has over 1 million active installs, 5 out of 5 stars average rating for 3,200 ratings. That's pretty amazing. Updated in the past 2 weeks, compatible with the current version of WordPress. All these stats look good to go, but I still recommend that you back up all your site files and your database just in case, because you never know when something's going to go wrong. And if you need any help with that, there's a tutorial in the card up above and the description down below for Updraft Plus. Great backup plugin. It's free, it's simple, allows you to schedule backups. If you need help with backups, check out that tutorial. I'm in my demo site here, so I'm not going to back anything up. I'm just going to click on Install Now and then Activate. And now we have a new menu item on the left-hand side of here called Wordfence. You may have been presented with an option to input an email address. That email address you enter, that's where notifications are sent if something is detected by Wordfence. And below that is a checkbox. If you check that box, you also get newsletters from Wordfence. If you don't check it, you won't get newsletters. So if you don't want any newsletters, go ahead and not check that box, but enter your email so you are notified if something's wrong on your site. And on the next page, after you click Continue, you're going to be presented with a box to enter a serial number. If you have one, enter it. If you don't have one, just click on the little no thanks link, and then you can use the free plugin. And then you'll be taken to this dashboard page here. And I'm going to show you 3 really cool things about Wordfence. One is their firewall. The second is their scans. And the third is the live traffic. So I'm going to exit out of this tour. You can check the tours out if you like. But first, let's check out the firewall. So right now we don't have any stats for this site itself, and the firewall is not even activated yet. We're going to activate that in just a second. But what I want to show you is the total attacks blocked by the Wordfence network. That's this graph over here. And the Wordfence network is all of the sites that are running Wordfence that have the firewall installed, and they share information. So if there's an attack from a certain IP or a certain country or a certain whatever, if there's a pattern to an attack, Wordfence will automatically add that IP to the blacklist, and then it'll be blocked from other sites. And this is hourly. So at 7 p.m., 1.2 million attacks were blocked. At 12 a.m., another 1.2 million. The dip here at 12 p.m., 955,000 attacks blocked. That's a lot of blocking going on. So clearly, the Wordfence network is blocking a lot of attacks, and it's good for the site owners that have Wordfence. To activate the firewall, we're going to click on Manage Firewall here. You can also go to Firewall in the left-hand menu. To activate the free version of the firewall, you might have a message at the top of the screen that says something like this. You can get to that message also by clicking Manage Firewall or by going to Firewall on the left-hand menu and then clicking on Manage Firewall. I'm going to go directly through this message. Click here to configure. And then we're presented with some information. And this is done automatically. So Wordfence is going to detect what the server settings are, which are in this dropdown. This is what Wordfence detected. Usually it's pretty accurate, but if you know for a fact that it's not what it is, that it's auto-detected, then choose what it actually is. And you want to download the htaccess file, just click here. Download the user.ini file by clicking here. And those are just backups. Those are the current versions of those files on the server. And then click on Continue, and then Wordfence is going to add some code to those files in order to activate the firewall. and then route all traffic through the firewall and hopefully block a lot of bad traffic and hacker type traffic, malware type traffic. So this installation was successful. Nice work. Firewall is now optimized. That's great. Click on close. And now we have firewall enabled. We have the upgrade option over here for real-time IP blacklist. We have a non-real-time IP blacklist, I guess, for the free firewall. And we have some advanced settings down here that we can choose. I usually don't mess with these too much because they're all pretty... Wordfence is built for security, so the default settings are made to secure your site. So if you're very advanced, you know exactly what you want to change, what you want to tweak, you can change it and tweak it. One of the things I do change is the brute force protection. Here we have lockout after how many login failures? 20? Seems like a lot to me. So I usually have this down to 3. And lockout after how many forgotten password attempts? Also 20? I'll go with 3. Count failures over what time period? 4 hours. That's pretty good. If you want to be really secure, you could go over 1 hour or 2 hours. Amount of time the user is locked out, 4 hours is pretty good. Immediate lockout for invalid usernames. I usually don't activate that, and here's why. If you have an invalid username, it's not a real user, so they can't hack into that account anyway. So if you immediately block it, they're going to get a message right away saying that one's blocked. It's going to tell them either that doesn't exist or it's immediately blocked. But if you allow them to keep on attempting that invalid username, after 3 attempts, they're going to be locked out for 4 hours, which I think will block more people. I could be wrong, but I think by blocking invalid usernames immediately, you're actually going to be able to block less people. So prevent the use of passwords leaked in data breaches. That's pretty smart. This means if there's a data breach reported or they find a database of passwords on the dark net, Wordfence incorporates that into their plugin and then doesn't allow the use of those passwords in trying to hack into websites. And you can choose this for admins only or for all users with publish post capability. And then we have the basics: enforce strong passwords, don't let WordPress reveal users' login errors, prevent user registering admin username, just all the basic stuff. Rate limiting. This is where we can block access to certain bots that come to your site. So you can immediately block fake Google crawlers. I usually have this checked. And you can choose how to treat Google crawlers. So if a verified Google crawler comes, I usually give them unlimited access because I want Google to be able to access the site and the content and index it. If anyone's requests exceed a certain amount, right now it's unlimited, or by default it's unlimited, you can choose any one of these because think of a regular human who browses a website. They're not going to make that many requests. They're going to be reading a blog post for a while. So they might make one request every 2 minutes, 3 minutes. If they're clicking around, they might make 10 requests a minute, maybe. And then you have crawlers that come in and they request a lot faster because they're indexing stuff. But then you have people who are being abusive and doing up to 1,000 or up to 2,000 requests a minute. And generally, that's too many because that hurts your user experience because all these requests take server bandwidth. So I usually limit this down to 240 or 120 per minute, and then I just choose to throttle it instead of block it. And throttle it just means you limit them to that amount. And you can choose which one of these to limit and which ones not to. Usually I try to throttle all of them because never is there a need to do this many requests a minute over a long period of time. So I usually block them all or limit them all to 120. And this is just my demo site, so I'm not going to go through and change these all to 120. You get the idea. When you're all done in here, click on Save Changes. That's going to save our firewall settings. And now, if we check out, one more thing. When we first activate the firewall, it's in learning mode. And learning mode basically allows Wordfence, has a description right here. It allows Wordfence to learn how your site functions and allow normal visitors through the firewall, which is what you want, and then block the bad visitors. And it says here, you should have learning mode on for about a week before you enable the firewall, and you just enable it by going to enable and protecting. Or you can schedule it. So you can check this box, enable on, and you pick a date. You don't have to worry about it. It's always set to 1 week from today, from whenever you activated it, and then it's automatically set up. Once you have done the firewall, you can go in and check out the tools. There's a two-factor authentication if you have the premium version. There's also other plugins like the Google two-factor or Google Authenticator. Link to a tutorial up above to set that up for free instead of getting it premium with these guys. But the tab I like here the best is the live traffic tab. And we just installed this plugin, so we may not see very much, especially because this is the demo site. So there might not be a lot of traffic that has arrived yet, but we'll see. Hopefully we had at least one hit. And it looks like we had quite a number of hits already from a lot of different places. Oh, here's a good one. We're going to talk about this one in a minute. Another one. Okay, so what we have here is a lot of hits on the site, and there's an index at the bottom. Green for human, these circles, this type column with the circles. Green is human, gray is bot, yellow is warning, red is blocked. So if we go through at a glance, we see this one's yellow, this one's red. We have a green, bunch of yellows from China. And this is live traffic. This is within a few minutes from now, or currently live on the site. As you can see, it's updating right now as we're on here with more. Here's another from France. We got a yellow. Another one from the US that's blocked, the red. All right, so what are we looking at here? This is traffic to the site, like I said. If you click on any one of these, it expands with more information. And it gives you the type, which is a bot in this case. It gives you where they are, what page they visited, how long ago, what their IP is, all kinds of stuff. And you can run a who is on them if you want. And you can see recent traffic. So see if this IP was here more often. We click on that and we see when it was here. So it's been here 3 minutes ago, 13 minutes ago, 18 minutes ago. So quite a number of times. And I want to check out one of these yellow ones. I'm always concerned when I see Russia. I don't want to offend anybody from Russia who's watching this, but quite often the Russian IPs are flagged as red. But this one's from the Ukraine. And this is interesting because they were trying to access something that WP includes. So what these guys try to do, I'm just going to close all these tabs up here, is if you have a hacker showing up, what they're going to try to do is find exploits. So let's go to look up WordPress exploits. This first one here, I'll put the link in the description down below. This is a list of all known WordPress exploits. And if we take this one, for example, number 2, any WordPress install before version 4.9.2 has a cross-site scripting in the Flash fallback in this set of files in this folder. So what you'll see in Wordfence, if someone's trying to find this vulnerability on your site, they're going to try to access this folder in the WP includes. And the fact that this guy from the Ukraine is trying to access WP includes, that's a huge red flag, because nobody ever needs to access WP includes. And the response they got from the site was a 404, so that file is not there, which is good, but that could be a vulnerable file. So I'm just going to copy this and see if I can use a search. Use the search function up here, and maybe this is in the vulnerability database. Doesn't look like it is, but sometimes you do that and you find those in the vulnerability database. But either way, whoever this is, they shouldn't be trying to access anything in the WP includes. That's why they're marked as yellow. So I am going to click on block IP, and that is going to block their IP. Now they can have an IP switcher. They could be getting a new IP every 30 seconds. So, I mean, this can help and it can't help, but at least this one IP won't be able to access the site. And this person here from Boardman, USA was automatically blocked by Wordfence Security Network, meaning this is an IP that has probably been trying to attack other websites and it was automatically blocked. And you'll notice they went straight to the login page. They're likely trying to log in. And then this one, the Boardman, same place, is now a bot. And I notice both of them are from Amazon AWS. So it could be using Amazon Web Services to try to hack websites, using scripts that run off their servers, or it could be a legitimate bot that has been blocked illegitimately. But they shouldn't be trying to access the login page. I mean, it'll happen sometimes, but not over and over. Not enough to have the Wordfence network block them. But either way, you can go through and see who's legitimate on here and who isn't. And then you can also find out, we were in the throttling a moment ago, you can find out how often to throttle crawlers and things of that nature through here as well. In the comment spam filter tab, We have comment spam filtering. That's about it. If you have the Kismet plugin installed, you don't really need this. Or if you want to use just one plugin, just use this and not a Kismet. And the whois lookup allows you to enter a domain name or an IP address and look up who it is. Just enter the IP in here or the domain. And the diagnostics is really where you'd only spend time if you're troubleshooting a problem. So if I click on the expand all link here, it'll say green and check marks for things that are okay. And there'll be red X's and yellow warnings for things that are either warnings or bad. So if you're having a problem with the plugin or on your site or something, you can quite often find it in this diagnostic area. And that's all there is to live traffic. It's very interesting stuff, the live traffic. I'm going to head over to scan. And scan is pretty cool because it allows you to check for a lot of things, including file changes. File changes in plugins and themes compared to what's in the repository. Now this is in the WordPress repository. It won't check changes from premium themes or plugins from Theme Forest or Code Canyon, but it will check everything in the WordPress repository. And before you run a scan, what I like to do is go to Scan Options and Scheduling. I let Wordfence scan when it wants to because I use the free version. On the premium version, you can scan whenever you want. But when you let Wordfence choose, they scan a quick scan every 24 hours and a full scan every 72 hours. And for me, that's always been enough. I use the custom scan because by default, the check theme files against repository and check plugin files against repository are not checked because that takes a bit of time. And then you can go through, check and uncheck all these. I usually have them all checked except for the last one because the high sensitivity scanning often pulls up false positives, as it says here. And then you spend a lot of time chasing down leads that aren't a problem. So it can be a waste of time. And performance options, this is not checked by default. I always have it checked. And what it's doing is it's limiting how many server resources Wordfence uses. Wordfence is a bit of a resource hog. Some hosts actually block Wordfence. And when I say some hosts, I mean one host. The only one I know of is WP Engine, and they don't like Wordfence on their servers. If you install it on their servers, they actually block its functionality, and then they email you and ask you to remove it from your site because it's a huge server bandwidth hog. So I like to have this box checked because having plugins that use a lot of server resources harms user experience on the site because it may cause the site to slow down. So I always have this checked. In the advanced scan options, I usually don't change anything. After you set your options here, click on Save Changes. Then you can go back to scan. And if you have Wordfence installed for a while, it's going to scan automatically. Or you can just click on Start New Scan. And it's going to scan, the paid version will scan these three at the beginning, the spam advertising, spam, and blacklist. The free version will check server state, file changes, malware scan, content safety, public files, WordPress strength, vulnerability scan, and user and option audit. And if nothing is wrong, you're going to get a bunch of check marks for all of them. And down here it'll say no issues found, this many files scanned, this many themes and plugins scanned, this many users checked, this many URLs checked, no results found. So the site's all clean. If you have errors, they're going to show up here. And even plugin updates will often show up here. Usually plugin updates are for security reasons, and if you don't update them, you could have a vulnerable website. And those are the three big things I really like about Wordfence. The firewall in the free version, checking out the live traffic and being able to block live traffic, and having the firewall auto block IPs that are restricted or blacklisted, and the scanning, especially the scanning for changed files. Because a hacker, if they do get in, they're going to upload a file or alter a file to create a backdoor. So even after you clean your site, they hope they will still have a way back into your server to take over your site again. And having the scan that scans for theme changes and plugin changes is huge for detecting that, and it helps a lot. So that's how we do it. I hope this video helps you. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit subscribe, then the bell icon so you don't miss anything. Check out the private Facebook group and the link in the description down below. And next up, check out one of these videos that popped up on the right hand side so you can get even better at WordPress. And until next time, keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.